Back on NFL Daily. Didn't think we were doing news today, and we got a
Think again.
whopper. Let's do some news. Davante Adams has informed the team that he prefers to be traded, according to our insiders, Ian Rappaport and Mike Garafolo. The news comes on the same day that Antonio Pierce was noted to like a social media post suggesting that
Antonio
Adams
Pierce's account
could be traded.
Oh, this is so messy.
That's probably what he'll say, too.
It
So
is
messy.
crazy to have a coach liking comments like
I'm
that.
sure
and that
he was
becomes
hacked, guys.
part of the story. It doesn't matter now because it's just out there. This thing is moving quickly.
Yes.
It would seem, if all the insiders are reporting that he wants to be traded. ESPN, Adam Schefter already throwing out some possible terms, a conditional second and maybe
Escalating quickly.
something
They'd
else.
consider it.
Right, which I think we've been around long
Yeah.
enough that if that's being thrown out there, what they're trying to negotiate through the media, they already have something maybe not quite as good in their pocket and seeing if they can do better. Steve, what do you think?
Well, unless somebody with the Jets is saying, we'll give him a conditional second. Because that's going to be the speculation out for him to get back with Aaron Rodgers. And frankly, if you're the Jets right now with your season the way it is, you do it.
Oh, yeah.
This is a last-ditch season for the Jets. So you go out there and you do it. That's unless a team – I'm going to give you a couple teams that I think should probably make a move like this. I think the Atlanta Falcons should go ahead and make a move like this. They need that type of receiver and that type of veteran on this roster to go ahead and add something to this. I think they want to get him out of the AFC if possible. But I mean, this is a situation where I think the Falcons and the Jets should go ahead and say, let's play ball. Because no one needs it more than the Chiefs, but they're not going to trade him to Kansas City.
A second-round pick is not a crazy.
And-
I mean,
and-
Mohamed
and the
Sanu
condition-
got traded for a second-round pick in a similar situation to the Patriots. Davante Adams looked great in week 2, plays week 3, finishes the game, doesn't play week 4, and then this all pops out. He was on Kay Adams's show on FanDuel and said, that he didn't know about the Antonio Pierce. It just seems like this is all systems are firing, and it doesn't seem like it's just from Adams. It seems like it's maybe from both sides.
Don't forget now, the came sometime between business decisions and him not playing as well.
Ooh.
Right? Remember, you cannot forget that. I'm not saying that Antonio Pierce is including him in the business decisions, but things are kind of nuclear.
The connecting of the dots here.
We need a Detective Weiss segment.
We
Yeah,
do.
No.
White's
Don't
just
even
out
go
here
there.
sleuthing
Get
around.
myself fired.
This is something, though, that was talked about in the summer. Like, this is not anything new that teams were approaching the Raiders and trying to propose trades for Davante Adams, and the Raiders supposedly turned them away. And so now they're in this situation where Davante Adams is clearly unhappy, and they need to figure it out.
Yeah, and every team calls on every big player like this. I mean, this was serious, to your point, Colleen, to the point where one of those teams was like leaking that they were doing it in order to sort of stoke the fire. Oh, is there something going on there? Something that you have to address before the first day of the season begins in a press conference? Are there different things? Like just continuing to rekindle. It would not surprise me if this has been going on and this conversation has been happening with the front office and the coaching staff for several weeks now. And getting out in front of it would be to say, oh, I'd prefer to be traded.
Maybe even longer, too. We know how...
And getting out in front of it from a coach might be saying the guy's making business decisions.
Well, and also, I don't think Gardner Minshew's coming to Quarterback Island.
No.
Oh, we didn't even mention him.
Let me ask you this, Jordan, just out of curiosity.
Yeah.
Are the Rams confident enough in Cooper Kupp and Puka Nakua's health not to get involved in making a move like this?
I don't put anything past the Rams in terms of making splash moves, especially maximizing what could be a final year before Stafford comes back to the negotiation table. I also wouldn't put it past them blowing everything up if it continued to go south.
Correct.
However, like this is one of those things where you can't actually seriously say as a team that you are depending on the health of a receiver that hasn't made it through a full season in the last 3 years, as well as a receiver who's a bright and blossoming star, but who's situation is going to be more significant time than initially thought in training
Puka
camp.
Nacua, you're talking.
Puka Nacua. And so I would not put it past them to make the call. Now, they're going to be on that hinge, though, of either you go all in that direction, which they did in 2022. They tried for Christian McCaffrey in a last-ditch effort to save their season.
Marcus
and then
Peters, Jalen Ramsey.
And they didn't. But I'm specifically talking about like a horrible start in 2022. And they tried to go all in for Christian McCaffrey, trying to compete with Kyle Shanahan to get the job done. And then all of a sudden, their season completely imploded, and they could not.
Right, they were in the mix for Brian Burns. That didn't happen.
Yeah.
Let's go. First, I now think Davante Adams is never playing another snap again for the Raiders.
I don't think so either.
This coming out the way it has, this thing could move quickly. And unlike some of these trade situations where it takes forever, like this is Davante Adams. This is a future Hall of Famer. The season is already started. People will want to get him into his building. The contract is an interesting part of it. He's not making much money this year. So actually, contractually, it's kind of a bargain. It saves the Raiders some money. It's not painful for them either. Next year, he's due $35.6 million. Then year after that, $36.6. So that's probably going to require some sort of renegotiation. Maybe not. I'm curious, like, how much control he has in this process. We saw how much control Brandon Ayuk had in that process. It is important, but this might just be a rental, and I'm looking at like teams with cap space. First of all, would the 49ers ever think about it, like sending Debo away and the Raiders get someone?
Bring him home.
That's something.
From Palo Alto.
The Browns have a wide receiver who's playing terribly. They have a ton of cap space. They're always in on these sort of things.
He ain't the only one playing terribly.
He's not right. He's not going to want to go there. But if he doesn't have much decision making, I could see the Browns in on it. The Patriots and the Steelers, who were in on Ayuk, you would think would be teams that would be in on Davante Adams. That's logical. Like the Lions.
Oh my God.
That's not a crazy. And I'm going through the top to bottom of cap space teams.
God.
The Lions have a ton of cap space. And they could certainly use another wide receiver. So that's what I'm saying is
Really?
like I think this is gonna
outrageous.
I think this is gonna go somewhat quickly, and I think they'll do better than a conditional second. Am I crazy? I don't know. Am I crazy?
Like a solid second? I mean, no one's giving up a one.
No.
What I'm saying is
Oh no, we would never give up a first round draft pick that we miss on 50% of the time for a future Hall of Famer who we know is gonna help our team this year. Oh no,
think so.
God.
Detroit is not giving up a first round.
No, I get it. Some teams would. I'm just the mind hive. Like, but we'll give up an extra first to trade up to go draft Marcus Davenport or Olave or whatever. Like, people give up extra firsts all the time when you get
Saints land.
like. Yeah, the Saints could be in the mix. They could certainly need a wide receiver. Like, go for it. So many teams. This is fun.
Hook up Derek and Davante.
Exactly.
How about that?
All I'm saying is when it comes out
That's good.
clearly through a player's camp that he would prefer to be traded, that automatically tells teams on the outside, come get me for cheaper than you would have had to before.
Yeah. What I was going to say before is that he's been unhappy for a while in Vegas, and he was very unhappy when Derek Carr left. So that makes total sense for him to end up maybe reuniting with him in New Orleans.
Now, the Saints, they can pull off some salary cap voodoo no other team, but they only have $2.7 million of space right now.
They are going to be in cap hell for eternity.
They always figure it out. So is it really hell? I don't
figuring
know.
out for the year,
So,
but
by the way, Steve,
at some point.
It just clicked for me to your Rams question for me. You know who the backup in Los Angeles is?
Oh, the
I don't know.
hospital, the hospital thrower?
Awkward hallway
Jimmy
crossing.
Garoppolo and Davante.
Throwing hospital balls?
Just avoid eye contact walking down the hallway.
This is great. Thank you to Davante Adams.
Wow.
I've wanted the NFL to become more like the NBA with trades, and this is what we need, a nice in-season trade. And even the Raiders are into it. Vinny Bonsignori, who covers the team
very good.
locally for their big paper there in Las Vegas, the Review Journal said that the Raiders are also open to it, and a source with knowledge of the situation. He doesn't say the Raiders, but the source said the club has been reaching out to teams. So
That's
wording,
very
that means it's
specific
bad.
wording.
that wording,
Yeah.
reaching out to teams, that
That's
the
bad.
Raiders are reaching out, they're in on it too. Let's go.
This is the NIL dude opting out of after
Well, and also he
Davis
can be
Red
part
shirt.
of the Super Bowl race for some team. That's like a fun value add.
Watch him trade him to the Panthers.
All right, let's
No.